Hi and welcome to Best in Tesla. Toyota is getting sued by owners of their hydrogen car, the Mirai. But not only that, 120 scientists want the Paris Olympic to dump Toyota's Mirai as the official car. Yes, scientists are against this because the science says it's a dumb idea, because as of now the hydrogen you can buy to fill up your hydrogen car is all made from fossil fuel. So let's check out how the Toyota hydrogen car is a dead man walking, and let's dive right in. So, a group of 120 scientists, engineers and academics have penned an open letter calling on the Paris Olympic organizers to ditch Toyota's Mirai as the official vehicles at the Games, saying the hydrogen-powered car undermines the event's green credentials. Cars that run on hydrogen emit zero carbon at the tailpipe, but 96% of the world's hydrogen is still derived from fossil fuel like methane gas. That makes most hydrogen-powered cars much more polluting than battery electric vehicle and only marginally cleaner than traditional combustion engine cars. Toyota is supplying the Games' official fleet, which include 500 Mirai cars and 10 coaches that runs on hydrogen, as well as 1,150 EVs to ferry athletes around. It says it will run the Mirais on hydrogen derived from water and organic matter generated with renewable sources. But the letter's authors still oppose the car's promotion because in reality, customers who buy the Mirai will almost certainly run it on hydrogen derived from planet-heating fossil fuels. As they wrote, "We are writing to express our concerns that Toyota promoting a hydrogen car is scientifically misaligned with net zero and will damage the reputation of the 2024 Games," wrote the authors, who included scientists and engineers from the University of Cambridge, Oxford University and the University of Colorado. Opportunity remains to reroute, and we urge that you require Toyota to replace the Mirai with battery electric vehicles as the official game vehicles. The Paris Olympic organizers are aiming to host the greenest ever Games, hoping to halve the carbon footprint of the major sporting event compared to the levels in the 2010s. To do that, it will attempt to run the Games entirely on renewable energy. CNN had reached out to the organizers for comments. The letter is the latest criticism of Toyota, which has faced pushback for its multi-path strategy to decarbonize its vehicles, which critiques says focus too little on EVs. Passenger cars and vans account for around 10% of the world's energy-related carbon pollution. Toyota, of course, believe the hydrogen car is part of the future, but as I have shown many times before on this channel, it simply does not make sense to use hydrogen for cars and heavy-duty machines. And I will show it one more time in this video because Toyota has also claims that hydrogen is great because you can charge it much faster than an EV. Well, technically that is true, but I personally only charge my EV at home when I'm not on a road trip, so I spend literally no time charging my car every day, like 80% of the time. And the hydrogen car will never be able to charge at home. You have to spend time going to a filling station all the time. And as it is right now, you can hardly fill up your hydrogen car as it is because the lack of filling station. In my country, they have pulled them all down. And that is also why owners are now suing Toyota. They have had enough of this crappy, useless car. As you can see in this article, frustrated Mirai owners sue Toyota over hydrogen headaches, with hydrogen often unavailable for days. So how is that filling up fast? And the persistent issue of non-functional refueling stations. How is that filling up fast? Mirai owners appears to have reached their breaking point. That was about time. This car has been on the market since 2015, so 2 years before Tesla even started production of the Model 3 and 5 years before the Model Y. But after almost a decade in production and sales, in all of 2023, Toyota sold 2,737 Mirais. So luckily for Toyota, there are not many angry customers. But Tesla's Model Y sold 1.2 million units last year, and it came out 5 years later than the Mirai. How Toyota, or anyone else for that matter, can still think hydrogen will be a success when we can clearly see the customers has decided. The Mirai is a huge flop, one of the biggest flop in the automotive industry, and the Model Y is one of the big success stories in the automotive industry. The customers has spoken. And now a group of Toyota Mirai leasers and owners, apparently disillusioned with the reality of hydrogen car ownership, filed a class action lawsuit against the automaker. The lawsuit takes aims at Toyota's marketing, accusing them of misleading customers about the fossil fuel EV's daily usability. No shit, Sherlock. I could have told them that. Actually, I tried. I have been making videos about this for 5 years now. The plaintiffs point to a number of frustrations, including the dearth of operational refueling station, the scarcity and skyrocketing cost of hydrogen fuel, and the Mirai's disappointing range that falls well short of advertised figures. They argued that these issues render the car practically unusable for everyday driving. Yes, the hydrogen car is not very efficient. You don't get much more range than in an EV, but you can fill it up very fast. Not if there's not any filling station, and if there is, they don't work, or there is no hydrogen left, as they can only fill up about 50 cars. But it really is the efficiency that kills the hydrogen car. I have shown my own little chart here many times before, trying to show how bad the idea of hydrogen car is, but I just came across this little chart from Michael Sura that puts it very nicely, because as I've said many times before, the only hydrogen that is sustainable as a zero-emission fuel is green hydrogen, as the scientist of the letter also points out. So that all starts with renewables. You know, the thing you can just fill directly into your car, as shown here on this chart. So when you have created 100 kilowatt hours of green energy, you get to use about 85 kilowatt hours of those 100 kilowatt hours to move your Tesla Model 3 and get about 459 kilometers of range from those 100 kilowatt hours of green energy. But if we use those 100 kilowatt hours of green energy to make hydrogen, then we lose about 30 kilowatt hours, or 30%, just from making the hydrogen from electrolysis. And then we need to compress it and transport it and refuel it to the car, and you lose energy on all those steps, and you end up with only the equivalent of 57 kilowatt hours of energy to move your car. But as the hydrogen car is almost as inefficient as an ICE car, you will only get about 173 kilometers out of those 100 kilowatt hours of green energy. If you drive the Mirai, that is, but if you take BMW's hydrogen car, which is even much worse, as I've talked about before on this channel, they will only get about 56 kilometers of range out of those 100 kilowatt hours of green energy. So if the world should run on cars as bad as BMW's hydrogen car, we would need about 10 times as many renewables to make it happen. So if you think it's going to be a big task getting the world to run on solar, wind and hydro and so on, it would be about 10 times as difficult if we went with BMW's hydrogen car. But even with Toyota's Mirai, which is the best hydrogen car in the world, we would still need about 2.6 times as much renewables to make it happen with hydrogen than if we just went with electricity. And we see that owners of the Mirai are experiencing all the hassle having a hydrogen car as well. And it's not like this is just happening. The Mirai has actually been here longer than the Model Y, as I mentioned in the beginning, and actually 5 years longer. So it doesn't really matter what Toyota or BMW think about hydrogen cars. The customer is, by the end of the day, the only judge, jury and executioner. If the product doesn't work in real life, like we are clearly seeing right now as the owners are suing Toyota, and that the hydrogen car has gone nowhere for decades, the jury is in. The customers don't want hydrogen cars. They just don't work in real life. Just look at the numbers shared here by Alex on X. In Q2, a total of 99 new hydrogen fuel cell cars were sold in the US. 99. It's a 91% year-over-year decline and the lowest level since Q4 of 2015, when the hydrogen niche was in its infancy. When the Mirai just came out, it has not really grown for a decade. And as you can see here, the sales year-over-year changed by automaker from Q1 to Q2 2024. Toyota Mirai sold 245 units, down 86%. Hyundai Nexo, 77 units, down 27%. So if that had been Tesla, that after a decade of production only sold 3,000 EVs in a whole year, as Toyota did with the Mirai last year, Tesla would of course not exist. So the only reason that the hydrogen car is still being made today is because Toyota has chosen to keep it alive, even though it has never been a successful business at any point in the last decade. It's a money pit for Toyota. Had this been a hydrogen car startup company, they would have been dead 10 times over. This technology is a dead man walking. It is being kept artificially alive. It's inefficient, expensive, costly to manufacture and own, and it makes the road to a sustainable future about 2 to 3 times more difficult. There is really nothing left about the hydrogen car that makes sense. And that is why we have just seen 120 scientists sign a letter against the Olympic in Paris to make this the official car of the Games. And not only does scientists vote against this product because it makes no sense, Toyota is at the same time being sued by their hydrogen owners because it's basically impossible to live with. It have never made sense. It's a dead man walking. The only question is, when will Toyota kill the hydrogen car and no longer keep it artificially alive? Yes, we need hydrogen for fertilizer in the steel industry, so our main focus should be on getting those 120 million tons of hydrogen we use every year in those industries as a chemical to become green and stop the other stupid idea of using it as a fuel. Because grey hydrogen is not a part of the solution, it is part of the problem we need to solve. As Elon said many years ago, hydrogen is really stupid to use as a fuel. But when do you think we will see Toyota and the others give up on this stupid idea before it takes them to the grave, or will they give up before? Let me know in those comments down below. And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.